How much are we e- executing on the disciplines in our life? It's again, many of you have been on these calls. You hear us talk about it all the time, right? These are the little reminders. These are the little tweaks in our life, little changes that we got to make, the things we got to be aware of if we're serious about getting to our ideal life, designing the life we don't need a break from, becoming the best version of ourselves. Discipline is one of the keys to being successful. Every person that I know that is successful, just like ET said, every person that I know that is successful has a level of discipline, not external. It might be the start, and it's okay if that's where you're at right now. If you need someone to motivate you, to inspire you to get disciplined, if you need the external to push you a little bit, like you said, it's not saying don't go get a personal trainer, but at some point, you got to cut that personal trainer off. At some point, it's like, okay, I can do this myself. This is the same thing in all the areas of your life, ladies and gentlemen. We talk about it all the time. You got to be able to, yes, have this well balanced life around your faith life, your family life, your relationships, your health, your finances. All of them take a level of discipline. Take a level of discipline. It's not you just doing it when you feel like doing it. It's not just you doing it because it's convenient for you. There is a level of discipline. Some of you have heard me say this. I talk about this all the time. Me and my wife, we haven't had a job in a decade, right? Do you know the level of discipline that it takes? Some of you want to be completely time free. You want to be like, hey, I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, go wherever, do all the stuff. That's a great goal and it's a great life to have. But do you know how to be disciplined enough to create that life and to sustain that life? When your 24 hours are your 24 hours, what do you do with it? Do you still wake up and go to the gym? Do you still wake up and show up at your business at the exact same time? Do you still have the disciplines to eat the right way and right be in the word or be in, in your faith life in the same ways? That's what we're here to do. That's what we got to grow into because discipline is the key, y'all. And some of us don't choose to be disciplined in many of the areas. Like ET said, some of us have to, right? Like we struggle to say no to ourselves, to our feelings, to our personality, to our vices, to the things that we have. Like we don't even control ourselves. We don't have discipline to control ourselves. So how do we control our life? How do we get our lives to the place where we can design our ideal life? It's just something to pay attention to, yo. It's something that we got to get better in. It's something that we have to continue to progress in this area of discipline because it's huge. It'll change your life in so many ways. I'm currently on a fast. ET talked about fasting. I'm currently on a fast, right? And so understanding that fasting is really just the ability to say, I have control. If a good friend of mine, when we would talk and we would talk about fasting, he gave me this quote and I always remember it, right? He would always say, anything you can't willingly fast from controls you. Anything you can't willingly fast from controls you. So like if you can't fast from your phone, if you can't fast from social media, if you can't fast from a certain food, if you can't fast from alcohol, if you can't fast from anything, if there's anything you can't willingly fast from, it's actually controlling you. So that's why we test. That's why we randomly fast so we know and we remind ourselves, no, I have control over my flesh. I have control over that. Nothing else external controls me. Some people think fasting is just about losing weight. It's not. It's about the control you have of what you choose, the disciplines of what you choose to put in your mouth. I'm going to choose to not eat that fried thing. I'm going to choose to not eat at this time. That is a control thing. It's learning how to have discipline. There's so many ways to do this, but it has to be a staple in your life if you want to be successful. And again, when we talk success in any area. any area requires discipline. In our text, 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class, it says the great ones choose discipline over pleasure. We live in a world where pleasure is what people seek a lot of times. But the great ones choose discipline over that pleasure. Here's what it says. It says, when average performers have had enough for the day and call it quits, champions are usually just getting started. Discipline is the watchword of great performers. Discipline makes the difference between the good and the great. The great ones will tell you discipline is more of a decision than it is an active skill. It's the ability to stay the course and complete promises you made. The fulfillment of these promises builds confidence and self-esteem, which eventually leads the champions to believe almost anything is possible. It's a habit and a self-fulfilling prophecy built into one. Discipline is a logic-based decision that performers adhere to, regardless of whether they feel like it or not. Discipline pushes performers past pain and punishment. As my late business partner and mentor Bill Gove always said, it's easier to act yourself into good thinking than it is to think yourself into good action. Say that again. It's easier to act yourself into good thinking than it is to think yourself into good action. This is the mindset of the champion. The great ones like Bill Gove don't let feelings interfere with their performance. Instead, they harness the power of their emotional motivators to propel them past the competition. Average people see discipline as a painful chore to be avoided at all costs. The world class sees it as the ultimate power tool for performance. Is this how you view discipline? Do you view discipline as painful? By me just telling you, hey, maybe you should think about fasting some things, does that automatically bring some pain? It's like, oh, discipline. Oh, I got to wake up and do it. Well, we got to shift that mindset again if we are designing our ideal life. I keep putting that on there because, again, this isn't for everyone. Not everyone wants to grow. Not everyone wants to become better. Not everyone wants to get to a better life. But for those of us that do, we have to start shifting the way we think about these things. Shifting the way we think about discipline. We got to choose discipline over the pleasures of life. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. I get it. Easier said than done. But what is this saying? This is a decision. That's all this is. It's a decision. You don't, if you make the decision to be more disciplined in the area, then it's you keeping that promise to yourself. Some of you say, hey, I have a guy that I'm mentoring, and he asked me this question specifically. He said, how do I build more confidence? It's like, how do I build more confidence? And I was like, number one, you just got to keep the promises you make to yourself. Like the small promises, like I'm going to make my bed today, or I'm going to go to the gym today, or I'm going to make that phone call today, or I'm going to save money this week, or I'm not going to eat this thing. Like just small little promises that you make to yourself. And that's actually one of the things that builds confidence. It says it right in here. It says the ability to stay the course and complete the promises you made. The fulfillment of these promises builds confidence and self-esteem, which eventually leads champions to believe almost anything's possible. This is an internal thing. If you practice discipline, if you make the decision to be disciplined in different areas, it will build a natural self-confidence and self-esteem within you. Has nothing to do with the external world, has nothing to do with your environment, has nothing to do with your circumstances. It has everything to do with, do you do what you say you're going to do? Do you do what you say you're going to do? Even if you don't tell the world, even if you don't tell your spouse, even if you don't tell anyone around you, do you know that you're doing what you said you're going to do? If you do that, it will build in you, right? This is a building thing. It will build in you confidence and self-esteem till you get to the point where you believe, man, I can do anything. Man, anything's possible. I can make that happen. Why? Because you know you now have the discipline to do it. Again, back to the fasting things. The reason why, like, I fast, again, to control my flesh, but also the more that I fast, the more I know I can do anything. Like the things that are really hard, I know I can do them. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It continues to allow me to be even more disciplined in other areas, to then start to push myself in other areas. When my business isn't going the way I want to, what do? I get right back to some disciplines, to some scheduling disciplines. Maybe I got a little lax over the summer, or maybe, right? Because this happens to all of us. Again, I'm no better. I'm just maybe a little further down the path. I've been doing it for a long time, but I want to spend some time with family. I want to have some pleasurable things, and maybe those things, right, take over a little bit. But I know how to pull myself right back in. All right, time to get a little bit more disciplined. All right, now let me make sure I'm up at this time. Let me make sure I'm working out every single morning, moving my body every morning. Okay, right back to disciplines. That's a practice. You make a decision and then you practice how to be more disciplined. But we all can do it. It's just you have to be mindful of this. You have to be mindful of the areas you've let yourself go more pleasurable than discipline. You have to be mindful of the areas where you know you can just push yourself a little bit more to not be controlled by your feelings and how you feel that day, but just the disciplines that you've created over time. This is crucial for all of us that are heading towards success. Again, success in any area. There's disciplines if you want to build your faith life. There's disciplines that you have to put in. If you want to grow in your health, if you want to be healthier, there are disciplines you have to put in your finances. In your finances, you guys know we're money people. In your finances, there's disciplines, right? Most people don't have spending problems or money. They have habit problems. They have discipline issues when it comes to their finances. They're not disciplined in the things that they do. Some of you, again, just staying on the financial thing. Some of you know, I tell you guys, hey, if you want to really get good with your finances, track your money every single month. That becomes a discipline. I've been doing it for 8 years, 7, 8 years now. Discipline every single month. Probably have only missed 2 months, maybe 3 months over a course of 7 or 8 years of being disciplined looking at my finances. It's a discipline. That's all it is. It's an active decision. And so that's where we got to grow. We got to get better in these areas, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to continue to get to our ideal life. It says here, this quote says, with self-discipline, anything is possible. I believe discipline is the ultimate key to success as it determines your approach towards every day. Discipline keeps you focused and keeps you performing at a world-class level. With self-discipline, anything's possible. And maybe we just need to be more aware of the areas we're not as disciplined. And if we really want to grow and change and get to our ideal life, then we would start, because it's just a decision. It's not an active skill. Like it says, the great ones will tell you discipline is more of a decision than it is a skill. It's not like, oh, I don't have that skill set of discipline. No, you just haven't made the decision to be disciplined in a certain area. You haven't felt the pain yet of like being sick and tired of being sick and tired in some area where it's just like, I'm going to now do this. I'm now going to be disciplined in this area. Maybe you're not sick and tired of living paycheck to paycheck yet, or whatever the case is, or, you know, overdrafting in your account. So you just haven't made the decision to be disciplined in your finances. But this is the time. This is why we do these. It's so that we can now be mindful of the small things that life is not going to tell you, right? The world, your friends, the people around, they're going to talk about the pleasurable side of things. Oh, let's go do this. Let's go vacation here. Let's go eat this place, do this brunch. Like the world is about pleasure. Us on this journey to get to our ideal life, we got to be about discipline. Because through the disciplines, we can have the most fun, the most pleasure, because you know you now control your life. Nothing is overtaking you. And it's a powerful thing to have, and it's the way we have to live if we want to get to that ideal life. The action step for today says, on a scale from 1 to 7, 7 being most disciplined, how disciplined are you in the different areas of your life? Become aware of these things. Become aware of these things. Rate yourself 1 to 7. Categories include business and career, right? How disciplined are you in business? Some of you are on this journey of wanting to be an entrepreneur, right? Wanting to be an entrepreneur. People call them a wantrepreneur, right? But you are wanting to become an entrepreneur. So how disciplined are you at your business life, at your career life? Some of you, we talk about scheduling. How disciplined are you with a schedule? How disciplined are you at waking up at a certain time? How disciplined are you at being in front of your computer or on your phone at a certain time? Just ask yourself those questions, right? For business and career. What about friends and family? How disciplined are you in your relationships? Do you show up for friends when you say you will? Do you do all the things that you tell your family that you will do? Do you show up? Are you disciplined with your relationships? What about in your finances? Again, any of you know you need help, reach out, have a conversation. We help you get disciplined in your finances. But currently, scale from 1 to 7, how disciplined are you? If we want to make changes, you want to get out of debt, you want to have more savings, you want to be financially free, it comes from disciplines. So how disciplined are you in your money and finances, right? Recreation and fun, right? At the end of the day, having this aspect of your life where you have a form of harmony. I don't always call it balance, but harmony, where you do have recreation. You do have things that you do for fun. How disciplined are you at showing up? I'll remember a long time ago, I had a therapist that I was going through a bunch of stuff. It was probably 8, 9, 10 years ago, maybe. I can't remember. It was a long time. I was living in California, sat down with this therapist, kind of talking through some things, had a lot of stress, a lot of pressures. She asked me one question that I remember forever. She was like, "What do you do for fun?" I was like, "What do you mean? I don't do anything for fun, right? I work, I'm business, I'm trying to raise family, blah, 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 all the stuff." She's like anything. Like, what would you do if you just wanted to have fun? I was like, "I'd probably play basketball or something." Like, when I'm on the basketball court, I kind of lose myself and I don't think about anything. She's like, "You need to do that every week. It's the one thing you need to do every week. You need to put it in your schedule to do that one thing every single week. If that's the thing that brings you some joy and gives you some fun and some liveliness or whatever the case is," she was like, "You need to do that." And I remember that to this day. I was like, "Huh, that makes sense." All right. So how disciplined are you in just even your recreation? What about your health? What about your diet? What about your exercise? How disciplined are you in it? Write these things down. Get aware. The first step to growth is awareness. The first step to change is awareness. Don't fool yourself. Don't lie to yourself. I used to have a mentor that used to always be like, "Don't buy your own BS, Chris. Don't buy your own BS." Sometimes we do that. We just buy our own BS. It's like, all right, well, I'm I'm not fat. I'm a little overweight. No, you're obese. Don't buy your own BS, right? Like, so where are you at in your health, in your diet, in your exercise? How disciplined are you? How disciplined are you in your faith life, in your spiritual life? How disciplined? Again, these are the things. Again, it says social and cultural, and then personal development. How disciplined are you in your personal growth, personal development? These are the things to pay attention to, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to go off and design our ideal life. And I know you all want to, and you all deserve to design the life that you don't need a break from. Design the life that is exactly what you see up ahead for yourself and for your family. But it starts with things like discipline. So take this Friday, take today, write down, become aware of where you are in some of these areas, and then make a decision to figure out how you're going to start getting discipline in a couple other areas. Remember, you start getting discipline, this is going to help you internally become more confident, have more self-esteem. We could all use a little more confidence. Could all use a little bit more self-esteem. How do you do it? Keep these small promises you make to yourself, become a little bit more disciplined in these areas. Watch your life change. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve to win. Your families deserve to win. People are counting on you to take in this information and apply it in your life. People are counting on you. I know you don't think so just yet, but I promise you, people are counting on you to take in this information, apply it in your life, because they are going to need you. They're not here getting this information. If they were, then you could maybe, right? You can rely on them, but they're not here. Invite them, by the way, invite them to the call so that if they want the information, they can get it. But you guys are the ones that want to take your life to the next level. You deserve it. Now we got to go do the work. So enjoy your weekend. Do something that scares you. Do something that makes you be a little bit more disciplined, even though you're off from your job. What is your Saturday and Sunday? Hopefully it's not just relaxing and sitting back. Maybe there's some disciplines you start to put in place over the weekend to help you get to that next level. So love you guys. I'll see you next week. Take care.